What is going on, familia? It is Thursday, the 26th of September, 2024. This is episode 27 of the Carlos Whittaker podcast. And today we're talking about savoring. And you know what? It's not episode 26. It's episode 37. I'm a hot mess, and I'm not going to re-record that. Nope. We're here. We're going to be talking about the science of savoring today from chapter 12 of Reconnected, how 7 screen-free weeks with monks and Amish farmers helped me recover the lost art of being human. Savoring, we don't do it no more. Breakdown. No, it's not the breakdown yet. We'll keep Dr. Delight in the background until the breakdown happens. And I put up a reel this week just on savoring a cup of coffee, and it got viewed more times than I thought it would. Here's the breakdown. Can we savor the breakdown? Just listen. Feel what it does to you. Oh, it's so good. That breakdown is a picture of savoring now. Hit it. Okay, we'll fade it out now. Thank you, Dr. Delight. I have been trying to savor the first 2.5 weeks that my book has been in the world. Because, you know, when you're out on the road and you're running around and you're in the middle of all the madness, like I understand and I get it that like all of this excitement from the launching of this book is going to go away. I mean, it's obviously beginning to go away. It lived in the top 500 books on Amazon for really the first 2 weeks. Now it's like book number 3,000 on Amazon, and you know it'll bump up and down the more I talk about it. But I want to savor. I want to savor all of it. You know, I've been at all of my meetups with all of you that have been coming to my events. You know, we've had hundreds of people show up to my book signings, and one of you asked me in Minneapolis. We were at a theater. It felt like a stand-up show, by the way. It was awesome. I think we need to level up these Insta Familia book signings / whatever they all are. Even meetups, like we need to level them up to like, I don't know, like make it a thing. Like do you guys think that I could like book 10 to 15 small theaters around the country next year and we sell them out and we come and we do an hour and a half of something together? Would you be into that? I don't know. I just love it so much. I love seeing you. And when I was there, scroll. What I was going to say before I decided to plan a tour next year is one of you, you know, I was talking to you and I try to really look at everybody in the eye when I'm talking to you, and really not just that, because I want to know who you are. Who are these people on the other side of the screen? Who are these people that are digesting my podcast on a weekly basis? Who are these people that are liking and commenting on all my posts? And I love when I get to meet you. And one of you said, how? Because I mean, it took me an hour and 15 minutes to get through the book line. And it was towards the end, and one of you were like, how do you have the bandwidth to look at all of us? And you're like asking us all our story, and you're really interested, and you're asking second and third questions. And my answer was simple. I just was like, it's not always going to be like this. So I want to savor it. It's not always going to be like this, so I want to savor it. Every moment we have the opportunity to savor is never going to be there again. I will never have that opportunity with that person in that room with that group of people ever again. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, the moment that you're living right now. So savor it. For all you exhausted moms with toddlers and exhausted dads with toddlers, and they will never, ever, ever, ever be this age again. Savor it. For those of you with the newborn screaming at 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m., 4 a.m., 4:15 a.m., 4:30 a.m., it's hard to savor those things. So I'm not going to say savor the screaming, but savor them this little. My screaming infant just got married. Savor it. There is a science to savoring. There's a science to really I mean, I'm going to give you a lot of data today, but I do want you to understand that savoring is something that we have to continue to practice doing. I don't think that it's something that we used to have to practice. Last week we, talked about slowing down, the science of slowing down. And I just know that because we have all of these distractions now, because we have these screens in our hands, I think that savoring is becoming extinct. I mean, if I can even, let me rewind. We used to have to savor. You used to have to savor movies or TV shows, right? Like literally. Okay. So, again, so for all of you younger millennials and younger, okay, older millennials will know what I'm talking about. But like the TV shows that you loved weren't on demand, right? I remember when TiVo first came, which is basically a DVR, which is how you would record. This is after VCRs, record your favorite shows. And only like my rich friends had one. So, they could watch the show over again if they wanted to, but I couldn't. So I'll never forget, when like 24, remember? This season on 24, like just even that sound effect of 24. Oh, it brings back such savoring memories. Why? Because it came on, I think it was Sunday nights. And you would hear the little countdown going on. For those of you that don't remember 24, it was like 24 episodes, one season. Every episode was 1 hour of a day. And the whole season was one day. So every week you just get the next hour of the day. And, as always, bombs and, presidents and, government, all the stuff. And then Jack Bauer, it was awesome. But I just remember like savoring, like the commercial break would end and then you knew that you had another 15 minutes straight of action packed, like what's happening? What's the question that they're going to ask? And like, I would just sit there and not want it to end. I was savoring it. And then for those 4 15-minute segments, 12 minutes because they were commercials, a week, it was one of the most savorable shows. I just remember like everybody would savor it. Everyone was like, we couldn't wait and it was over. We're just like, no, I've got to wait till next week. This is horrible. And we'd savor. I don't think we know how to do that anymore. I mean, let's look, what's the watching TV with a phone? Let's see what it says here. Watching TV while using another device, also known as second screening, is a common practice. A majority of consumers in 17 markets say they use their mobile device while watching TV very often. That's crazy. Like, I can't even fathom the idea of desiring to do anything else but pay attention to what Jack Bauer was about to do. Damn it, Chloe. He would always scream that to Chloe. Remember Chloe? She just was like so scatterbrained and so anxious and nervous and she'd always screw things up. But she loved Jack more than anyone. Sorry. I just can't even fathom looking at another device while I was watching that. Like I was all in. I was savoring every second of it. Because these screens are in our hands, we have lost the ability to savor. How many of you are ever watching a YouTube video and then on your phone, you can like minimize the YouTube video and check your email at the same time. So now we're double screening on our own screens. Savoring. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors. That is mind-blowing. That means I promise you can find that person that you're looking for to help you take the next step in your organization or business or whatever it is you're trying to do at Indeed. You can ditch the busy work. I know I have using Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging. So you can do it all inside of Indeed. You don't have to worry about emails, losing emails, all those things. Indeed does it for you. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree that Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/humanhope. Just go to Indeed.com/humanhope right now and support our show by saying you heard about it on Indeed. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Terms and conditions apply. You guys know that I absolutely love that my life has been impacted by therapy. And I believe that your life can be impacted by therapy as well. You don't just have to go to therapy when something is wrong. You can go to therapy when things are right, when you just need a tune-up. Listen, I don't just go to the gym when it's time to lose 40 pounds. I want to stay in the gym after I'm healthy as well. That's exactly what I look at therapy as. And the way we can all get there is by finding a therapist that fits us. Guess what? BetterHelp helps you do that. If you benefited from any sort of conversation with somebody that loves you, just let me tell you that a therapist can look at your life holistically in ways that people that may be in your circle every single day cannot. Okay, so if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist. And you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/humanhope today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/humanhope. I just think there was a season when we truly savored things, and it's not even that like we're bad people for not doing it anymore. We just don't know how. We've forgotten how. You know, I mean, chapter 12 in my book, you know, it's all about savoring. You know, I was talking about it in this chapter because I was leaving the monastery and I was like, oh my gosh, like I miss it so much already. I was just like savoring all the moments. And I just think that, I was able to do that because we don't have a screen. Let's define savoring for a second. Okay. The practice of consciously noticing and appreciating positive experiences to enhance their emotional impact. Let me say that again. Savoring, the practice of consciously noticing and appreciating positive experiences to enhance their emotional impact. So what's the problem? In today's world, many of us move too quickly. We talked about the science of slowing down that week. We get it. But we move too quickly to stop and savor the moments. Here's a study by Harvard University. I will link the study in my show notes. People spend 47% of their waking hours, get ready, thinking about something other than what they're doing, often missing out on the opportunity to savor. Let me say that one more time. According to a study by Harvard University, people spend 47% of their waking hours thinking about something other than what they're doing, which is forcing them to not savor. So I just want to give us opportunities to savor, right? There's a science to savoring, right? Like there's a science to savoring. So if we're going to say that savoring is the deliberate practice of mindfully engaging and amplifying positive emotions during a pleasant experience, right? Let's lean into like the science behind it. So I talk about in the book that like our brains have a negativity bias. We're wired to pay more attention to threats than positive moments, meaning that savoring requires a constant effort, a consistent effort, a conscious effort. Where is it? I talk about how, I just want to read this one little thing that I talk about. Our tendency to focus on the hard stuff as opposed to the happy stuff even reaches into our relationships. For example, consider the fact that much of what we focus on in our parenting is helping our kids avoid, navigate, or recover from disappointment, pain, or trauma, which is very important. But have you ever thought about teaching your kids how to enjoy a slice of pizza? Of course not. because that automatically happens if it's a good slice of pizza. But listen to this. Enjoying and savoring are not the same. To savor is to enjoy something completely with delight and pleasure. It's to squeeze every last drop of goodness out of it. Mere enjoyment may happen naturally, but savoring something, it has to be learned. We can strengthen our savoring skills in many ways, and I'm going to go into those ways. That's on page 120 of my book, Reconnected. I got a whole chapter on savoring, which I think that chapter alone could change a lot of y'all's lives. We're hardwired to pay attention to threats. Studies reveal, and this is from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, studies reveal that people who actively savor have 20% higher life satisfaction than those who don't. Okay? Savoring leads to better mental health, stronger relationships, and greater all well-being. Research from that same article also shows that savoring can boost happiness by as much as 30%, especially when we reflect on positive moments. So, what do we do? What's a takeaway? Some handlebars, as I like to call them, on savoring. Well, let's do like practical mindfulness. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. When you come across something that you like or enjoy during the day, okay, whether it's eating, walking, having a conversation, when you're enjoying that moment, this is what I want you to do. I want you to stop whatever you're doing. I want you to take a deep breath when you're enjoying it and just think about everything that your body's feeling. Okay. So case in point, I think I told you guys that 2 weeks ago, one of my Insta family members works for the Atlanta Falcons, and I bought tickets to the Atlanta Falcons home opener against Pittsburgh Steelers, bought end zone tickets about 30 rows up for my brother and I. We got there and I get a DM from one of you saying, "Hey, I work for the Falcons. How would you like to come down to the field?" And I was like, "What?" So I'm down on the field and I'm like, "Oh my gosh," I'm taking selfies and I'm like, "This is amazing." I'm FaceTiming Sohaila and my kids and I'm like, "Look at me," and my brother's there. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." I'm looking around, I'm like feeling the grass. I'm like, "This is so cool." But I'm actually not savoring it. I'm just enjoying it. Then next thing you know, I'm down there for 30 minutes and then they're like, "Okay, everyone get off the field. We got to get ready for the game." So I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's over." Did I actually savor it? But then my Insta familiar friend comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, so I don't know if you even want to do this because it's not the same game day experience, but would you like to come sit in Arthur Blank's suite?" Arthur Blank is the owner of the Falcons. Now I am dressed I'm not dressed for the owner's suite, but I said, absolutely. So my brother and I end up on the 50-yard line in a suite eating freaking filet mignon. And that's when I decided to savor. Because it just kept getting too good to be true. All you can eat, all you can drink. And so I sat there. And at this point, the Falcons were winning. And so I stopped and I was like, "Carlos, I need you to feel and savor everything you're feeling." So I closed my eyes. I took a deep breath. Something about taking a deep breath kind of resets you, scientifically proven. And then I just was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so joyful. I am so grateful." Actually, gratefulness is something, I want to savor this right now. I'm so grateful for the member of the Insta Familia that allowed me to do this. I'm so grateful. I opened my eyes. I was like, I can't believe I'm sitting on the 50-yard line in a suite. Look, I'm breathing the same air as Kirk Cousins. That's freaking cool. Oh my gosh, this piece of steak, close my eyes again, it just tastes so good. I'm eating a piece of steak in the owner box of the Atlanta Falcons Mercedes-Benz Stadium at the 50-yard line, breathing the same air as Kirk Cousins. Is so good. Even right now, practicing this mindfulness is getting me freaking amped. It's taking me back to the moment. And I think I am able to do that because I savored that moment. If I go back to being on the field, I remember the enjoyment of being on the field, but I can't necessarily go back to savoring it because I didn't savor it. I didn't stop. That's what I'm talking about. So when you get to a point in your day, I could have savored the moment on the field, but I didn't. And I can't now. I can't go back and savor it. I can remember how much fun it was, but I can't remember really feeling it. But right now, when I was thinking about when I savored the moment in the owner's box, I'm feeling it. I'm back there. Oh, So when you're in the middle of your day and you've done something, you're eating something that you're like, oh my gosh, so good. I want you to stop. I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to start registering every facet of your emotions, your feelings, how your body's feeling, what your taste buds are doing, what you're smelling. All of that is so important. Okay. So practice savoring every day. Got to practice it. Start there. Now, why do we need to savor in today's world? Right? I mean, again, this goes back to last week's episode. I mean, this is going to be a common theme through everything that I talk about for the next, I don't know how long, 100 years. Well, I won't be alive 100 years, but we're moving too fast. Like literally the modern world encourages us to rush from one thing to the next, making it harder to savor in the present moment. There's a concept called hurry sickness, which is the relentless pursuit of doing more, faster, which actually can lead to chronic stress and burnout. Literally, people in countries with higher levels of work-life balance, listen to this, like Denmark or Norway, report significantly higher happiness and life satisfaction, partly because they have more opportunity to savor moments of leisure. Why are we hurrying everywhere? Why in the world are we hurrying, flying around everywhere? I wrote something else down that I think it could be really helpful. What if you figured out a way? And all of this is going to accelerate your savoring. And this is something I've had to work on doing. Because I think when I try to savor on the back end of something, it doesn't set me up on the front end of the next thing. Let me explain what I'm talking about. Like I'm late everywhere I go because I feel like I just want to enjoy the last seconds of freedom wherever it is I'm going before I have to go somewhere and then I end up rushing there and then I've got no time to like savor ahead of time. I always savor on the back end, but what if we started savoring on the front end? Okay, what if we started relieving our hurry sickness by slowing down and savoring? The only way to savor is by slowing down, legitimately. Savoring and gratitude are deeply linked. So know that like being grateful for something. I mean, again, remember I was just talking about the Falcons game. Like I was so grateful for her giving me this moment, these tickets. Like I was so grateful, and scientifically, savoring and gratitude are deeply linked. And when we're hurrying, we don't have near enough time to be grateful. When you're hurrying somewhere, so leave a little bit earlier. So you're somewhere that you know, maybe in a waiting room or in a line a little bit longer than you wanted to be. I promise you, slowing down and slowing your hurry roll is going to allow you to savor more and be grateful more. When we express gratitude, we naturally prolong and deepen the positive emotions of our experience. So gratitude even needs space for us, right? Like we need more space. So I keep going back to this Falcons experience, but I texted her again like a week later. I just want to say thank you. It was so incredible. And I was able to practice gratitude in a way that I wouldn't have had I not savored. So, I mean, something that, you know, I started doing this, I don't know, it was probably 4 years ago, but I've got a gratitude journal. A part of it's gratitude. So like I do kind of like my quiet times in the morning, and I thank God for who he is. Excuse me. I praise God for who he is, and I thank God for what he's done. Praise God for who he is. Thank God for what he's done. So I literally write down like in my journal, like all the things I praise him for, right? For all the things. He's healer. He's all these great things. And then I thank him for things that he's done. So then in my journal, I'm like, thank you for this. When you did this, thank you for it, just being grateful. And so like I then have started actually writing more things I'm grateful for that, you know, weren't done by God around me. Were done by other human beings. Were done by human beings around me. And I started writing those down. Can I tell you the savoring that happens when I write down? So keep a gratitude journal. Just start by writing down 3 things a day that you're thankful for and take a moment to relive those experiences. Okay? And incorporate gratitude in your daily conversations. Share one thing you're grateful for at the end of each day with a friend or partner or a kid, family member, whoever. Share one thing that you're grateful for. Literally, laying in bed, if you're about to fall asleep, Heather, I forgot to tell you what I was grateful for today. I sure am grateful that you love me. It just felt so nice when you looked at me and smiled across the room. Grateful. Savor. Savoring and gratefulness are linked. The power of positive reflection, right? Again, I love these studies. I found a lot of studies for you. Studies show that reflecting on positive events from the past helps people savor and extend the benefits of those experiences. I just talked about that with the Falcons. People who regularly reflect on good experiences report up to 25% lower levels of stress, according to the APA. Okay? Savoring can happen in 3 ways. Ready? Let me let you know. This is very important. Savoring can happen in 3 ways. While an experience is happening, present, recalling a past event, past, or looking forward to something positive in the future. So I need to let you know that reflection can happen before an event even happens. That's actually when savoring begins. Savoring begins before something positive even happens to you because you can actually almost create what's going to happen, like the positiveness that's going to happen. So what's so cool about savoring is it doesn't have to be a surprise, right? It doesn't have to be a surprise. So let me case in point here. Let's think of something this week. Carlitos. Okay, got it. Next week, I got booked a couple weeks ago to go speak at it's like a pediatric healthcare gaming symposium. So these are game designers that are designing video games for kids that are chronically ill and in the hospital, that they can play these games on VR sets because they can't leave their hospital rooms. Mind-blowing. Such a cool event that I get to speak at. I'm speaking on my How to Human, talk and part of this Reconnected idea to a bunch of developers, right? So, they really need, I think, some encouragement to make sure that they're doing all of these things, savoring, noticing, because their life is screens, right? So it's in Denver. And I decided, I'm going to book a day early and I'm going to go fly fish. Now, what I could do is just not think about it. And when I show up there, not even think about it. And then when it's time, start researching all the rivers and start going. And let me tell you something. For me, savoring is going to begin right now. As I think about, I think I'm going to go to 11 Mile Canyon because I know that in late September, 11 Mile Canyon, the water's probably the perfect depth. It's probably just up to my knees. And the rainbow trout are probably spawning in there. So I got to make sure I stay away from the spawning ones. But the other ones that aren't spawning are gigantic. And I can just imagine when I finally drift that tiny size 23 pheasant tail across the nose of one of those and it goes up to, and then I set the hook and then that fish starts fighting and it tears up the river and it goes. And I'm fighting, and I finally get it in. I get it in the net, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I let out a mighty roar. And then I pick that thing up, and it's chunky, and it weighs just so much. And I'm like, thank you, little guy. And I put it back in the river. And go tell your friends. I'll put them back too. I'm not going to eat you. Whoa. I'm savoring ahead of time. So now when I get in the river, I will have all of these memories of savoring what I hope is going to happen. And now when I'm in the river, I'm getting to enjoy every moment. And you got to remember to take deep breaths when you feel like you're enjoying something. Stop. That deep breath will cement that memory into your ethos. It becomes a core, all the core memories you see on TikTok or whatever. Yeah, it won't become a core memory just because you've recorded it. No, breathe it in. Breathe it in. Savor it. Write it down. Right after it's done. Write it in detail. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And yeah, in that gratitude journal, the savoring journal. When my wife put our Aqua True purifier next to our sink, I thought to myself, babe, I can just get water out the sink. Why in the world do I need to be using this pitcher with crystal clear water in it? Because the water coming out of the sink is just as good, right? Actually, no. Actually, it's not. Did you know that having safe, clean water is the last thing you need to worry about? But unfortunately, this is it. According to extensive research by the Environmental Working Group, 3 out of 4 homes in America have harmful contaminants in its tap water. Insert brake screeching sound effect right here. That's right. I need you to know our bodies need clean, healthy water, and AquaTrue allows us to do that. That's why you have to check out AquaTrue. They use a 4-stage reverse osmosis purification process. It's mind-blowing. And they have water purifiers to fit every type of home, from installation-free countertop purifiers, which is the one that we have, to higher capacity under the sink options. They even have a Wi-Fi connected purifier and mineral boost option. Literally, you can boost some minerals into your water through your phone. Mind-blowing. Just one set of filters from their classic purifier makes the equivalent of 4,500 bottles of water. That is a lot of bottles of water that we're saving the environment from, okay? And listen, even if you got pets, our pets are part of our family. Let the pets drink some of your AquaTrue purified water as well. I can truly taste the difference compared to tap water. I can taste it, which is telling me I'm drinking things I shouldn't when I'm drinking just my tap water. I always was hesitant about doing something like this because I was like, am I really going to use it now? I put it in my coffee. I put all my AquaTrue purified water in the tea and everything that we're using because I know that it is pure. AquaTrue comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee and even makes a great gift. Today, my listeners receive 20% off any AquaTrue purifier. Just go to aquatrue.com. That's AQUATRU.com and enter code HumanHope at checkout. That's 20% off any AquaTrue water purifier when you go to AquaTrue and use promo code HUMANHOPE. There is this thing that I've seen done before called the Joy Jar. And the Joy Jar, I got to find the TikTok of it, but the Joy Jar is a way for these parents to help their kids savor things that they enjoy. So whenever something happened that they found joy in, they would make them write it down when they're like, started, I think when they were five years old or something. And then they interviewed these kids when they were like 30 and they brought the Joy Jar back out. It was so cool. The parents were doing this to their kids and the kids legitimately, every single one that the kids at like 30 or 26 years old pulled out, they would start crying. Oh my gosh, I remember this. And they would start going into detail as to the moment. And it helped them remember because why? It cemented the moment of joy in their hearts so that they can savor it. Do it with your kids. Start a Joy Jar. Once a week, have them write down something they found joy in, stick it in the jar, and then they can continue to go back to it and continue to savor over and over again. Oh my gosh, this podcast could last 4 freaking hours because I have so many notes. This has a little bit to do with that. Sharing your joy with others, right? Like sharing positive experiences with others. I think it's really important. You know, a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to brag or no, it's not bragging. It's cementing. It's helping you savor. Okay. Couples who share and savor positive experiences together report a 12% higher relationship satisfaction, according to the Journal of Family Psychology. Okay. Social savoring increases feelings of connection, enhances empathy, and boosts the overall quality of relationships. So do it together. Don't just savor things by yourself when you're with groups of other people. Have them all join in with you. You're all enjoying in concert. Hey, everyone, look at me. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. All right, let's go back to the show. Literally, have them cement it, savor it. Okay. Now, listen, we can go into savoring and technology. I'm not going to do that. Like again, there's enough books on why screens has allowed us to stop savoring. You know, there's on all the negative experiences. We're not going to do that. I do give you at the end of this chapter, I dive into the four deeper ways for you to learn to savor. Okay. Anticipate where you're going, stay in the moment, look back often and celebrate it, right? This is all stuff we just talked about. Look for both external and internal things to savor. I want you to do that, but I want to give you, I kind of want to list out these practical steps. Okay. First one, practice awareness, mindfulness awareness. Okay. Second one, engage in gratitude practices. Okay. Is that a journal? What is it that you're doing? Use positive reflection, okay, to savor the past. Share your joy with others, okay, together. Let me give you some more here. These things I think are going to help you. Wake up with enough time to have a proper breakfast and coffee. And when you're doing that, savor it, okay? Second thing, always arrive about 5 minutes in advance of whatever it is that you're doing. Why? Because I honestly do believe that giving yourself time ahead of time to savor something is so beneficial. 3, make sure that you're savoring the present, the past, and the future. If you're looking forward to something, really stop and cement why you're looking forward to that. Think about it. I want you to do that today. When you're in the middle of today and something happens that you enjoy, stop in the middle of it and savor it. Savor it. Okay? The next thing. This is something I love to do. Count to 5 before picking up your phone. Literally, count to 5 before picking up your phone. What does that mean? In 5, if I'm going to reach for my phone in the middle of especially because I want to take a photo of something that I want to savor, just stop and count to 5 before and think to yourself, do I really need to capture this? Or can my memory be good enough to savor it that I don't need a photo of it? Because I'm telling you, inevitably what happens when you pick up your phone, there's going to be another notification on there, which is going to take you away from the moment. It just does. Savor. Make it a habit to call someone you love, your mom, your dad, your kids, a friend, at least once a week, to call and just talk. Hey, how's it going? Start with a 3-minute conversation. You will be able to savor that relationship in ways you haven't in a long time. There's a couple more, but I don't want, you guys can figure this out. I just want you to know that savoring is slowly fading away, and let's make savoring great again. Are we going to say that forever? Make blank great again? It's just like cemented in I know. Half of you are rolling your eyes, half of you are cheering, whatever. But savor. This week, savor. Right now, savor. Okay? I love it. And I love you. And hopefully you can today stop, take your breath, cement it in, and savor. Dr. Delight, can we have you back, please? What you guys think? Why don't you DM me and tell me the next deep dive you would like to go into? I mean, we got identity, Godspeed, noticing, wondering, being, solitude, beholding, control, presence, board, savoring, the table, all sorts of stuff right here. Intuition, unoffended, do not disturb, get lost, community. Hey, I almost started rapping. There's all sorts of things I want to dive into in this book. And a lot of this stuff, again, I'm excited about teaching in the faith space. I'm telling you, listen, when it comes to the faith space, y'all, I'm really praying and thinking about how to help churches get back to hearing the voice of God, because they can't, because they're all freaking attached to their screens. And you wonder why people are having a hard time with the church. Maybe they're not even listening to the voice of God anymore. They can't even hear it. There's too much other noise. Let's get back. Let's reconnect to what we're supposed to be connected to. Hey, see you next week on another episode of the Carlos Whittaker Podcast.